What's up, everyone? Welcome to another District Gooner Pod, brought to you by two Arsenal supporters in Washington, D.C., episode 44. I'm KP, and my co-host is in the lab with me. Steven, say hi to the people, dude.
Howdy. We're coming at you on a Tuesday evening. We actually just watched the ending of Bayern Real 2-2. It ended. A pen at the end that was, what's his name? Kim, making big mistakes. Two mistakes costed him. The after the game commentator is Jamie Carragher. It's like, oh, it's just like Kiwior in the Bayern Arsenal first leg. So I guess it's all Real at this point.
Yeah, he really held nothing back by making that comparison. He was saying that Kiwior basically lost a tie for Arsenal in the first leg, and he was saying that Kim has just done that for Bayern. He gave away a penalty for the equalizer, and then he got spun out for the first goal by Real, which is very nice. I mean, if you haven't seen that, go and check out the Toni Kroos pass. And a good finish, man. It was fun. But we are here to talk about the North London derby, man.
Yeah, they trying to keep us down. Right before the show, Jamie Carragher says that, like, oh man, but we still on a high. 3-2 to the Arsenal in the derby. How about that?
How about that, dude? What a fun performance over the weekend. I say fun because personally, at halftime, I don't think, one, I've ever been so confident in a North London derby. But two, I just thought how fun to be on the other side of a game like this. Because, look, they scored an offside goal. They celebrated so much. Like, they had scored a winning goal for the World Cup, dude. And then they have to come at my club for celebrations. Having that get called back and get a VAR call like that, that's beautiful, dude. And then they hit the post when they could have equalized. That was also fun, right? Little bounce of the ball not going their way. And like I said, I felt like at half it could have been a 2-2 game, but it was 3-0 to the Arsenal. And that was so fun, bro.
It was a fun game. We actually watched it together. So if you listen, we actually watched this thing together, which was really cool. 3-0 halftime. My man over here, he said, it's done. It's a wrap. This is so fun. 3-0. Can't wait to make it 4. Champagne on the pod. And then, of course, other things happened. But it is nice to come out on this side of it. This is one of those games where I don't want to say Tottenham like outplayed us at all or anything like that, because that's not true. But one of those games where like the decisions, the footballing gods seem to be on our side, you know, despite the Raya mistake, despite the Declan Rice kicking someone in the balls. The footballing gods were on our side. A little smash and grab in the first half. It felt like set piece play. It was a fun day to be an Arsenal fan.
Fun day, dude. And I mean, on top of it all, man, let's talk about the lineup a little bit, right? TP5 back on the starting sheet, dude. Back-to-back games for him now. And I was really excited to see that. It also looks like the left wing is all Leo's.
It is Leo's. And you know what's something that I can't believe? 6th start for Thomas Partey. We got 3 games left, and he's only started 6 games in the Prem this year. You watch how he played. You imagine if he actually was in our team for the rest of these games? Because he was incredible.
There is something that, you know, we keep going back to over these last few weeks, and it's just trying to get answers of why. Why didn't he play more in the last few months? And this is actually a good mention because just today, a few hours ago, they announced that Jorginho has received a contract extension offer. That's basically all done and dusted. I think it's just like another couple of years of having him at the club. And it's like, well, what does that mean now?
We were just talking about this before the show, before we got on. To me, it means Partey's gone. He's out. Jorginho signed for another year. Gonna buy another center mid, which I think everyone thinks is gonna happen. And Partey's now gonna be gone. But it sounds like you disagree with that.
I hope he's not gone. I don't see why we can't have both of them. I'm more curious about what this means for a Sambi Lakanga. I'm more curious what this means for a Charlie Patino than a couple of veterans sticking around the team. Also, I see it as El Neni is gone. That's how I see it. Someone else is stepping into that role now. But to get back to the derby, man, let's chat about it more. Obviously, TP5 had a very good performance, I thought, but on the lineup, Tommy, also a back-to-back start for him at left back. Good to see after the Chelsea, hit that he had to the ankle, a little bit of endurance shown by him. That was fun, but I don't feel like he had the best game.
No, I don't think he had a bad game, but this was a comment that we had while watching together was offensively, he wasn't great. There was quite a few balls that went into him. It seemed like he wasn't ready for it. Touch wasn't good. Offensively, he just wasn't there. But what do we know about Tomiyasu? Great on defense. Showed up time and time again. Was there for the important pieces of the playing defense, right? Pieces that we want to see from Zinchenko, I think, that we don't get. We got from Partey. So let's just say from his performance against Tottenham, I'd say they were almost like opposites. Was Tomiyasu terrible on offense? No, he wasn't. But is Zinchenko ever terrible on defense? No. But the mistakes he had were on offense, so it's okay. He had no defensive mistakes, and I think the last 3 games, he's the left back. I would say this game showed us who would have been in the Champions League final. To me, this would have been our lineup.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. I think this is it.
Wow.
We're looking top with this lineup, man.
That's a really nice shot. Just a couple of weeks ago, you asked about who's the best 11 that we have, and you're saying these last 2 games are it.
This is it. This is the team. Butter. Oof. Smooth over here, man.
It's so good, man. It was such a interesting performance, right? Because the way we had set up and our approach, it looked like we were welcoming the pressure. It looked like we were set up for an away game in many ways, the way that we have in the past too. And the first goal, I want to chat about it, right? Saka, corner, a lot of abuse from the home team, man. But I really, really enjoyed watching Højbjerg put that in the back of his own net.
One of the players we probably would choose from their squad, right? We all probably have bad memories of him hitting some long bangers against us, right? On the ground, deflection. He's scored against us a few times. So it's nice to see him score once again in the derby, but this time for the other team. It was an interesting game. I like the approach, man. I like that we changed it up. I think that's a good sign going forward. Arteta's learning. We're not just going the Ainge style. This is our football. This is how we're going to play. Can you beat us? No, maybe we accept you're really good at playing like this. You might be a tad bit better at it. But you know what we're better at than you? Pretty much everything else. So that's how we're going to beat you. For your strength, right, against our other strengths all around, we're a better team. That's how we played it. Those first. So we scored the goal, and we're watching. Tottenham were on top. On top. Romero with 2 chances, and then they scored the offside goal. And it was, when they scored that offside goal, it was like, that was coming. Like, damn, that was coming. I wasn't upset about it. We got an own goal off the header. They scored that cheesy goal off a deflection. Like, oh, that's cool. Then it gets ruled off for offside, and that is so great because it's a reset for us. Everybody like, all right, we're going again. We're ready. We can see what they have something in their locker to put against us. What do? Go put another 2 on them. Bang, bang.
Bang, bang, dude. That second goal was perfectly drawn up in many ways, right? That was a perfect counterattack. King Kai, what an assist for that second goal, man. I mean, Bukayo, I think he's done really well to get the best of Davies. You can see the run that he makes after playing the trigger ball and the cutback to finish. It's all really nice, but the move, it's all in the past from the German giant.
Say it with your chest. You were hype on this one.
King Kai, dude. If that is Harry Kane making that pass, what do you hear? Oh, he's a defender's nightmare. Look at how he can drop deep, turn, and just spring other players forward, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That ball was a dime. That's really a dime piece ball. I've watched it back. The touch by Saka, and like, not to take any credit away from him, the first touch is immaculate. But why is his first touch so good? Because the ball's on a platter for him. He put that thing, if that was Son, if that's Kane, if that's Kevin De Bruyne, like people are putting that up as a highlight constant. Like, look at this ball. It's in the dude's locker. We might not see it a lot because he's been in a Chelsea side that's terrible and his confidence was low, but this man has grown in front of our eyes.
Dude, he has so much game to him, bro. Apparently, there was a recent comparison of him and Robin van Persie. In the game, there was a moment where a cross came in and he let it go across his body, but he didn't hit. Do you know which one I'm talking about?
No.
It was King Kai, dude. He made a back post run. I think Saka played a deep ball to him, and it just goes across him. He doesn't pull the trigger on it, but it's like a little bit more of working under Magic Mike here, and he might just be pulling trigger on these volleys soon.
Oh,
man.
I do remember. Yeah, the volley chance. Yeah. I remember that. Oof. He's grown it. It is crazy to me to think about the beginning of the season. One touch passes, sideways, backwards, not turning with the ball, scared to run forward, dribbling the ball. Now look at him, pinging a 50-yard ball, putting it on a platter, getting into people early in the game. James Maddison fouled him. He didn't get the call, puts the ball upfield, tosses him to the side. Like, he's an Arsenal man now. I think he loves it. I really do.
He absolutely loves it, dude. And I tell you what, I want to get to the third goal, right? Great header, great run. But on top of it all, dude, if you are still, like, doubting this, or if you're thinking, oh, that transfer is like a 7.5, it's a 7 out of 10, dude. I got two things for you, man. Like, you're either delusional or you just can't admit wrong. And if it's the latter, for sure, go and find a therapist. That's my piece of advice. You need to learn how to admit wrong. And a lot of people need to apologize. What a goal, dude. I'm excited. I'm excited for everything that he's brought up to us. And the way that it's kind of under-talked, this notion that defensively, Arsenal play 4-4-2.
Yes.
Isn't that wild? That we live in an era where everyone's just, oh, look at the tactics, the XG, blah, 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 blah. Look at the different formations that they have. We play a 4-4-2, dude, and his defensive work is what really allows all of this.
He's like a cheat code. He kind of is a cheat code a little bit. So defensively, yes, he can win headers. We're playing long balls out to him. He's, flicking them on for Saka, things like that. But defensively, it's what's really cool to watch, and we hit on this just a second ago, is like, so we're going with a different approach this game. We're going to set up, let you come on to us, and we're going to win the ball and try to counter. 4-4-2, and where are our two forward players, Odegaard and Kai? Where are they playing? They're probably actually dropped back into like a center mid position, right? We are so compact. Tottenham, like, I think what they have, like 67-70% possession in the first half. They really didn't do. Romero was their attacking minded player of the half, because James Maddison didn't do anything. Son, Kulusevski, as much as he tried to flop around like the sweetest fish, didn't happen for him. But yeah, Kai, he's a cheat code, man.
Cheat code, dude. And yeah, the only reason they got anything was because Romero was just like unleashed to just go mad. It's okay. They took the chains off, dude, and he was just running around for it, man. I tell you what, the game in that first half, finishing 3-0, was really crucial. Did you want any subs or anything?
Absolutely not. It's a great performance.
Oh, sorry. One thing we should talk about, actually, is I know we just hit a bunch on how beautiful the ball was to Saka, but did you think there was a penalty in the build-up to that? There's been a lot of chatter, a lot of tears online, dude.
Yes, a lot of tears. I am not surprised at all that they didn't give that. If they had given it on the field, VAR is not overruling that, which is fine to me. They didn't call it on the field. I'm not surprised that they didn't overrule it either. Trossard is making really no attempt on the ball, no attempt on the player. He's just running into his own space. You're allowed to defend space. You're allowed to defend. Kulusevski runs across Trossard. and I said this while we were watching, is like he does himself no help at all. And I'm talking about Kulusevski here, because he was on the ground all game. That whole first half, he was on the ground multiple times. Maybe he's getting some contact, but he's like the Swedish fish. Like, why don't you stay on your feet, man? Play the game. Then it goes down in that instance. It's like the boy who cried wolf. I don't feel bad about it.
I agree with you 100%. I didn't think that was a penalty at all. And also, James Maddison dives. So, if anything, should have been a yellow card for it all. the ref should have came back to it, man.
I'm writing in a letter to PGMO right now. Yellow card. Retroactive.
All right, so we go into the second half. I agree with you. I didn't really want major changes, except back of my mind, the whole game I was thinking, I wouldn't mind Tommy to get subbed here. I just felt like Zinchenko would have been nice at up 3-0 to help with possession and seeing the game out.
We talked about that at halftime, actually. I was on the Tomiyasu train. Keep him in defensively. He's doing fine. Offensively, not great. Zinchenko, I wouldn't want to see him against Kulusevski personally, because Kulusevski was working. He was actually working, trying to work Tomiyasu. Didn't pay off at all, but I could see it paying off against Zinchenko. First half, though, 3-0. Do you think it could have gone very differently? To be honest with you, I felt fortunate to be up 3-0. I didn't see it being a 3-0, just the way it played out. We buried our chances. Our conversion rate must have been through the roof. But like, from the 2 set pieces, 1 own goal, the brilliant goal on the counterattack, love it. But like, that Romero chance off the post, yikes. The offside goal by a butt cheek, a butt crack from Gabriel. Like, how'd you feel about 3-0 at half? Do you feel like it was a justifiable scoreline?
Yeah, like I said, I was really happy to be on the other side of a scoreline like that in this type of game, because it was just fun. And online, I just saw how upset everyone was.
So that's fucking football. It's fucking football sometimes. That's what happens.
I agree with you. And I liked it. I like being on the other side. How many games have we played where we're in control and suddenly they get a penalty and then momentum swings? How many games have we had where we're so clearly on top, dominating at home, and they take an early lead on a counter, on a Harry Kane to Son deep ball counter, right?
Son getting fouled by Cedric in the box on a nothing. It was absolutely nothing. Get a penalty. Yeah,
how many times, dude? Get over it. You'll live. You'll live, right? Plus, on top of it, I mean, like, the second half started, and my big question was, what's going to change now? Are we going to go out there and try to get a fourth, or are we just going to welcome a lot more pressure? And we had a couple of good chances in the first 15 minutes.
Yeah.
There's one in particular that this is another reason I wanted Tommy to just get off the pitch. It's like right before their gifted equalizer, Tommy has a header. I think it was a free kick that we had, and puts it over. It's like, come on, dude.
Why are you hating on this man? He's your one to watch.
He's my one to watch. I have been watching. Okay.
Come on, that's a tough chance. There's nothing wrong with him not putting that in. It was a tough chance. The one that should have gone in though is that ball from Kai to Saka, the volley. What a save! Like, I'll shout out to the Tottenham keeper for that. Can't work his ass off on corners, getting manhandled by Ben White, but that was a good foot save because that was a fantastic ball into Saka.
Yeah, I'll give you that. But you know, it wasn't a fantastic ball.
Oof.
Is as we're in control, seeing this game out, and you're feeling, let's see some subs. Let's make it 4. David Raya, just as I said, I'm a believer on the pod. Just as my co-host said, what's the one thing we've seen from David Raya? He's like, he hasn't really given the ball away to the opponents to score directly on us. What does he do within 48 hours, dude?
Why are you going to do that to me like that? In front of God and everybody, put me on blast.
Hey, you're not alone in it. I just said I was a believer. Yeah. Finally. And he does this? Are you kidding me? What the hell was that all about?
So that happens. So we watch it. Obviously, he second guesses himself, dinks the ball directly to Romero, puts the ball in. Me and KP look at each other like, oh no, here we go. It's another one of those games. We looked at each other. Uh-oh. So that crowd, I would say 15 minutes in, 60th minute, I think this goal was at 63rd. Quiet. It's a library. I thought the Tottenham fans were going to leave.
Well, they were showing right at kickoff for the second half. In the first 5 minutes right after that, they kept showing the stands, and they did look very empty. Couldn't tell if people were just like stuck behind lines or what was happening, but the stands definitely looked empty.
Yeah, I think they were just drinking their sorrows away, probably, is my thought. I thought the fans were going to leave early. That goal goes in and just ignites everybody. It's the derby. Crazy things happen. Now we have a chance. I mean, it's the way we play. I'm not surprised that something like this happens to us, right? You see it happen to Allison. You see it happen to Ederson, the best players in the Neuer, the best keepers in the world that play with the ball on their feet. You make a mistake, and as a keeper, when you make a mistake, you cost dearly. It's the most painful mistake you can make. Everybody makes mistakes on the field, but when it's your keeper, it's the worst case scenario, and it happened. What I will say about the man, though, what a way to close out. I watched did you watch the bench cam this week?
No.
Watch the bench cam, man. So go through the goals. He makes his mistake. Obviously, everybody's disappointed. Mikel turns around like, damn. And, oh, come on, guys. We got to finish the game, blah, blah, blah. Almost, I would say, 80% of the highlights after that is Riot claiming crosses. Cross after cross after cross. Claims them. Doesn't bobble them. Secure hands. Bang. And, to me, that's it. All they had game plan-wise was cross and Inshallah, because they couldn't go through us, how defensively compact we were. That was their highlight. And I remember Brendan Johnson put in a few crosses, and Riot comes up with the ball, and he's just like, God damn, he's hot at himself, because what are you supposed to do? What are you supposed to do? So Riot, obviously terrible. Everybody knows that, but shout out to him for coming back.
Yeah, no, fair play, dude. I do give credit there. It's really nice how demanding he is in his box, and it also must be so nice for some of the center backs to experience that, and the defenders. I will say I didn't watch the bench cam. I'll check it out, but I did watch a video from 442. The guys that you've mentioned before on the podcast, and shout out to them. Really, really nice content they put together. And they were talking about exactly what you said of how compact we were. And a stat that really showed that was the fact that Tottenham had 36 crosses in the game. But this whole season, per game, they averaged 17.
Wow.
So that's just a testament of how much they really couldn't go through us. And on the other side, I think this was the most collections that David Raya's made or something like that. So it was cool. It was really cool. And they were also just talking about how big we are as a team and how that's such a massive advantage to us. And you could really see on those set pieces, they don't look great. So the goal goes in, you're right, the momentum's totally swung, and you just know a second is coming, it feels like. you really did, dude.
So the thought was, 63rd minute, I think it happened. I think Keon put out, we can't let him score before the 75th. Can't let him score. And I was like, we can't let him score before the 80th, man. It was happening. It wasn't like, we're not going to let them score again. It's like, they are going to score again. We just need as much time as possible before the goal goes in. And then a moment of absolute, I can't believe that wasn't called on the field. I can't believe that wasn't called a penalty on the field. There's a picture of Michael Oliver standing. It's perfect frame. Declan Rice's boot straight on Davies' nuts. Michael Oliver's right behind him watching. No pen. It's crazy.
It's actually insane. I'll give you that. Look, the correct call was ultimately called in the 87th minute. So
we held on for the minutes we needed to.
We held on for the minutes that we needed to do that. If we got scored on before the 70th or the 80th, man, woof, it was going to be tough out there. 87th, we get this pen. But you can also see by Rice's reaction.
He knew.
He absolutely knows, dude. The way he just his hands go down, and he's just like, oh, I can't believe I just did that. Like, they got you on 4K, my guy.
So funny. Son steps up. To be honest with you, I had a little bit of hope seeing Raya stop some pens, but that was a fantastic pen. Power. There was no stopping that thing. 87th minute, goal goes in. How much were you sweating? I feel like we didn't talk the rest of the game, to be honest with you.
No. I was so locked in, dude.
Separate sides of the couch. I turned away from him, turned away from me, trying to see this thing out. That was sweating bullets.
Dude, it was tough. It wasn't a position that we are unfamiliar with.
True.
But I will tell you, I also didn't feel as bad as I have in the past. I think in the past we definitely get scored on.
Okay.
I think last season we get scored on. I think this season we get scored on. This season before I think we get scored on.
That's actually a fantastic point. I forgot all about it, so shout out to that. After the game, Saka's interview, they were talking about last season. We had a 3-3 draw against Liverpool and a 3-3 draw against West Ham, where we were on top of both of those. Both teams came back on us to tie the game 3-3. This year's different. It's Tottenham 3-2. And it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, we've learned from it. I don't know how much I put into that personally. This team is better than last year, but they've been through these moments. They really have. Yeah, we've seen it before. We know how much it hurts, but this is against Tottenham. Could you imagine? To me, it's like just the storylines we could have had. 3-0 at halftime. If we just kept battering them, amazing. Imagine if it ended 3-3. The banter would be insane. Terrible for us. That's why I was dreading it. Like, if this goes 3-3, this is going to be terrible. Not fun for Tottenham. We ended they bottled it against us. Oh, it was all us, blah, blah, blah. Like, thank goodness we kept for the lead. But I do shout out last couple seasons. Like, we've been here. We've obviously learned something.
I think we have. And I think on top of it all, I think in the interview that you referenced, Saka also, the person asked him something like, you definitely don't want the next 3 to be like that. And he said something like, well, it'll still be 3 points. So, like, we'll take it. Like, doesn't really matter how it is, dude.
That is, you're hitting the points, man. I've seen so much about Tottenham fans feeling good about the result. We outplayed them. We showed heart. It came out to 3-2. Ange Ball's here to stay, yada, yada. And it's like, I mean, I understand it's the Spurs and they have a losing mentality. So, like, I get that. But I don't feel that way. I don't feel like we got outplayed. We came for the 3 points. We came off 3 days rest. We've been playing how many games in this? I think they had, 11 days rest? We've played, I want to say 4 games in like 2 weeks. It's like, I don't feel bad about that at all. We were able to stick with you. You couldn't outrun us. You should have been probably outplaying us at points of the game. That's fine. Because guess what we did? We sat back, let you come. You got nothing from it. Like, you can say that you outplayed us because you had more possession, but we scored 3 goals on you in the first half. You really didn't have anything. And we gave you 2 goals. Like, we gave you your 2 goals. So, no, I don't believe that.
I mean, I mentioned earlier about some supporters potentially being delusional by having doubts for King Kai. And this is so much worse than that. It's so much worse than that, dude. Because I completely forgot they had 12 days rest.
Yeah, crazy.
We're in back-to-back London derbies, dude. A brace and a goal and assist for King Kai, by the way. Back-to-back London derbies.
That's it.
Let me get that on the pod. But you had 12 days rest, my guy. This hasn't been a talking point at all in media. Of like, it's all just been like, oh, they almost bottled it, instead of, these dudes had 12 days rest and they were down 3-0 at half, my guy. Yeah.
12 days rest. And you let Ben White do what he always does and grab the keeper and play his little game. Did you watch any film? What were you doing?
What were you doing for 12 days, my guy?
Should have gone to Dubai. I don't know what you guys are doing.
Unreal, dude. So, man of the match. There's only one, right? Or
I think there is only one. I believe they gave it to Gabriel.
They did give it to Big Gabby, which was wild to me.
Had a good game, but it's Kai. It's Kai for me.
There's no way, let me get this on the phone. There is no way that Harry Kane does not get mad at a match if he has a goal and an assist like King Kai.
Oof.
Take that to bed with you tonight.
Ooh, take that one to the bank.
Let's chat a little bit about players. I think you actually have this Raya stat here. You wanna get into this? What is this?
Yeah, and it's come out a few weeks ago, but it's just so relevant, I think, for now. And it says the most used goalkeepers have stopped an average of 6.6% of crosses that have been swung into their areas. Raya has stopped 12% of crosses he has faced. This is the highest percentage in the division, and a huge upgrade on Ramsdale, who stopped 5.8 last season. This goes back to last week when we talked about the difference between the two guys. Stopping the crosses won us this game. Like I think it's point blank. That's why we won. Defense compact. They're not getting shots off. If Ramsdale is in goal, is he claiming all those crosses? I don't think so. They have some chances there. Nah, this dude snagged a bunch of crosses. Game's done. That's it.
Okay. No. Yeah, I hear you. It seems like he's it, man. I mean, the numbers don't lie. You know that. You know that from the last pod. I don't know what to tell you. 2 only means 2, dude. On the player chat, so before we get into talking about the Bournemouth preview, there's one thing I wanted to call out, which was Leo Trossard getting the start. And what does it mean for Martinelli? Because for me, Martinelli is in big trouble this summer. This is how I feel about it. I think he has to really prove himself. I'm not going to be surprised if we go out there and sign a winger. Mm-hmm. And look, what it comes down to is it's back-to-back seasons where Bukayo Saka has had 20-plus goal involvements, and he is the star. There was a little bit of a rivalry, it felt like, between the two of them at times. Yeah. And I think it's time to accept that he is the star. And Trossard getting this closeout part of the season to start, I think, is a huge sentiment towards Martinelli's season being described as, just wide. Because it's not just that his shots are going wide. This player in the past has missed passes that were critical to triggering the counter. And Trossard does not make that same mistake. Yeah. You think back to last season, it's 2-2 or 3-3 against Liverpool. There's like minutes left and we had a counter and Saka was through and the pass was just a little overhit. Yeah. And I think those moments like that are what really separates things. And this is the small margins that we're talking about. And for those reasons, Martinelli, you are in trouble, my guy.
First of all, that was amazing. Well said. But I gotta ask, I didn't see this coming today. So you say he's in trouble. Do you mean like he's in trouble potentially not starting next year? Or is he in trouble and he might be getting let go?
I think if an appropriate offer comes in for him, and we might not turn it away.
Wow.
This is just how I feel at this moment in time. I really rate the player. I do. I've always praised his potential, and I think there is a player there, right? I'm just saying he's just a little wide, right? But there's a question on here on the doc that says King Kai is the number 9, and does that change your summer thoughts? Mm-hmm. And this is where I think our thoughts differ a little bit, where I don't really care if we sign a number 9 or not. I want just to see a player come in that's preferably a winger and can play across the line a little bit. Kind of like a Julian Alvarez type player.
Yeah. It's crazy how things have changed so quickly, seeing Kai play up top. When you buy players, and if you're going to put significant amount of funds on somebody, you really got to try to plug your holes, right? So initially our holes were 9, center mid, and I've heard somewhere in the defense, we beg to differ, left back, right back, outside back, we'll say. But if Kai's playing up top and we're loving life, is the number 9 really a hole we need to plug? I don't think so. We do need a backup. I would say maybe a backup 9 is fine. But a winger is probably where it needs to be coming from. I think you're right on.
Is that the position you're going to splash on? And number 9 now with what you've seen?
Yeah.
with back-to-back London Derby performances like that, dude. No, I don't want to get too carried away on that. I do feel like when I'm saying Nelly is in trouble is what I mean. I wouldn't be surprised if he maybe doesn't have the starting position as locked down as he has had it these last couple of seasons. Like this season alone, I feel like we really rode him, right?
Yeah.
It just feel like, oh, he'll find form. He'll find form. He'll find form. And it just never really happened. He had a little bit of a spell when he came off the bench, scored a brace late in the game, little stat padding there. That game was already won, man. It was against Crystal Palace. We can be honest about it, dude. It was like 3-0 or 3-1 or something by that point.
Thank goodness for Trossard. It's so hard because we love Martinelli. He plays with fire in his belly. He works back. He does so many great things. But to your point, like, would I mind? I don't mind playing Trossard out wide. And I don't mind playing Jesus outside either. Like, that's competition that he hasn't overcome at all.
No, and Steven, here's the other point. Where is Fabio Vieira? I want to see him play, right? I want to see Smith Rowe play. There's a lot of players who have the potential of getting into this lineup. And this season, we really showed faith and the form never kicked in. So next season, I just feel like you're not going to have as much of a cushion as you enjoyed. And that makes you a little bit in trouble for me. Like, you need to put in some work this summer, man. There's little, so closes. I need them to be, wow, that's on the money, dude.
Wow. You heard it here first on District Gooner Pod. You heard it here first because I was not prepared for that. But to be honest with you, I could see it. Well, I think we keep him another year, of course. What is he, 22, turning 23? But on the flip side is like, if you're ever going to reap your rewards, right? If you're ever going to get the funds out of him that you want, probably in the next year, 2 is probably where the most money is going to come in for him. So if you get a good offer from him, yeah, let's splash that cash somewhere else.
Yeah, and we're only a couple of years away from a World Cup.
Wow, I was not prepared for that today.
You can't forget that, dude. All right, now let's turn our attention to another player though, who the spotlight has been on him. Tears have been all out, saying stuff like, "Without this player clearly obstructing the goalkeeper, Arsenal would not have as many goals as they have had." And people saying like, "How is this legal?" I mean, you have on here, Benny Blanco makes me love this team. What a guy, dude.
What a guy. He makes me love the team. Like, this is a player that I don't know how you can't like him as an Arsenal fan. And I get why you wouldn't like him as anybody else. Because he's a shithouser. He does the thing on the keeper. I understand. But as an Arsenal fan, love him. He does things that we absolutely need in the team. He can be our engine. He can be rough on people at times. I remember earlier in the season, there was a talking point we had where after the game, Zinchenko had made a big mistake and Ben White was on his case, like after the game in front of everybody, getting on him. Because I think it was a couple games in a row, Zinchenko had done something. So yeah, you need a guy like Ben White in your squad, bro. Like he's that guy. You
really do, dude. I mean, it's gotten to the point where these people online are saying, how is that legal? How is it legal? What, as a King K. Dot would put it, what community field are you the only relevant one, dude? What do you mean, how is this legal? It's fucking football, dude. What are you talking about?
It is crazy. Everybody's been saying this about Tottenham. 12 days. You know what they're going to do. Vicario, push him. Do something. You got to do something versus just standing there and keeping your hands in the air. Ben White kind of grabbed his glove, his keeper glove, and like trying to grip the Velcro. And Vicario's like, you got to do something. You got to push the guy, make the ref come over. That's craziness. Shout out Ben White if they're going to let you do it. And he's smart about it. You notice the one where we scored, he jumped back onside. He's messing with the keeper. And then the ball comes in and he jumps back onside. Just in case it comes off one of our players, he can put it in. So, Ben White, he's our man.
He's our man, dude. What a guy. The haters are calling him Ben Orange. That's not even clever, dude. You're not even being creative anymore.
I watch Love Island, and I think he's a Love Island boy. He looks like it.
Looks like an island boy, dude. He looks like a pirate to me.
He does kind of look like a pirate.
I always think this just got a pirate gene, bro.
He does look like a pirate.
I don't know. Benny Sparrow. All right, man. Let's. Any other players you want to chat about, or should we look ahead to the weekend?
Let's get into the weekend.
Let's get into the weekend. Okay, so it's Bournemouth at home Saturday. Early kickoff, dude. 7:30 a.m. Eastern. So good luck, everybody watching in the U.S. But how do you feel? It's as much of a trap game as it could be.
It is absolutely a trap game. You've seen the stat. They're like 5th on the table as of November 1st.
Which I have seen that, and I think that's such a dumb thing to say. It's like, well, the season started 3 months before that, so like, sorry.
It just means that they're in good form. It's like, to me, that's all that means. They're in good form. We know they have a good coach. Do I expect us to win? Absolutely. But is there a little bit of that trap game written? A little bit. Bournemouth, United, Everton. The Everton game, feel great about it now because they're in safe. So Sean Dyche, he got no skin in the game. Hopefully he's cool. United, that's always a worry. Going to Old Trafford, tough game. But this one at Bournemouth, this is a trap game, bro. It's almost like the definition of, yeah.
I think so, man. I think so. And I couldn't tell you anything about what to expect. I can't tell you that I've watched a single Bournemouth game that hasn't been against us.
And you know what? It is at home. So which makes it even more of a trap game because you don't know what you're going to get.
It really does. I mean, this atmosphere, I've talked about it. I talked about it on the last pod, and this is a game where I'm slightly worried if we are losing at halftime. What will the atmosphere be like come 70th minute? There's just so much bad energy projected on the team usually during that point, and I really, really hope that's not the case. I hope we're not losing at all, right? But if we are, I'm going to be paying attention to the atmosphere.
You know what I'll give a shout out to is last year against Bournemouth. Do you remember that game?
Is that the Reece Nelson game?
That is the Reece Nelson game.
Shout out to him, by the way. A little Arsenal youth legend at this point, just because the Reece Nelson game. You know the Reece Nelson game.
The Reece Nelson game. That was last year against Bournemouth. And that's when they were just promoted, I believe. So they were in not great form. But it's just, I do think we will win. This is all we have. This is all we have. Gotta win out. I do think we win, but it's not going to be a roll over and die situation.
No, it's probably not, but it is a home game. There's only so few of these left, so it's a 4-0 for me.
Woo!
And maybe we'll see King Kai on the score sheet again, dude.
I wouldn't doubt that. I'm going to go 3-1. I'm going to go with the 3-1 game. But yeah, seeing Kai, he's been on the score sheet the last couple games, so yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at that at all.
I hope so. All right.
Here's what do you think it's the same 11?
Yeah.
I agree. We've seen this manager. He's going to throw out the same. He's going to say, run it back, run it back, run it back, run it back.
We are definitely in run it back mode. And I mean, if I don't see Thomas Partey play for the last 3 games, and then I don't see him in the squad next season, I would be very upset. I want to see him finish out the season. So no, keep it all the same. Keep it all the same.
It's crazy. It's so crazy because if you're a listener from the beginning of the season, this man was Thomas Partey out. He did not want to see him in the squad. He wanted to see him sold. See you later, sayonara, Sammy. But then you see him on the field on his stuff, not playing right back, but actually on his P's and Q's. Yeah, I kind of like this player.
But that was my argument, though. It's like, if you're going to play him right back, then we should sell him because what's happening here, dude? We have eyes. What's happening? Don't get me started on how the season would start it off, bro. Don't let me talk about Big Gabby on the bench, bro. I'm trying to wrap this episode up.
That seems like it was years ago. How about that?
Yeah, it's been a long season, actually.
Big Gabby on the bench.
Wild stuff. All right, before we wrap up, let me give an update to the listeners about how the ladies of Arsenal are doing. They've had 2 games now over the past couple of weekends. They beat Leicester 3-0, and this past weekend on Sunday, they drew Everton 1-1. There's only 2 games left in the season, and They are 8 points off of first place, who they actually play next on May 5th. So Sunday at 9:15 a.m. Eastern Time. Looks like we're going to be giving a little guard of honor, potentially, to Man City. Actually, no, because Chelsea are sitting second, and they have 2 games in hand. So
thank goodness.
There's still something to be played out there on the women's side, but not for us in the league.
Love that. We don't want to see that.
All right. One final thing before we go. Did you see this following our chat about when is it time for the manager? He has now reached 100 Premier League wins as a manager, which makes him the 5th fastest to do so in the amount of games. So Pep is first, Mourinho is second, Jurgen is third, and Sir Alex Ferguson is fourth. Mikel is now 5th, and Arsene is 6th. So not bad company to be among.
Not at all. And you got to say, Pep, I wouldn't even include him because their squad was stacked when he arrived. So that don't mean much to me at all. Klopp, better team than us. Mourinho probably had a stacked Chelsea as well. They did. They were stacked. Klopp, I wouldn't say they were stacked, but they were pretty good. They were decent. What Mikel came into was not good. We've talked about this time and time again. We were not good when he came into the squad, man.
Even Arsene, when he came into Arsenal, when he talked, one of his famous quotes is how when he got to Arsenal, he realized that the defenders all have like a doctorate in defending, something like that.
Yeah. So for him to be 5th, I think is a huge credit to him. Huge credit to the squad. Huge credit to owners for buying people, trusting in him, because we were not good. We're not making the Champions League, not making Europe. We didn't get European football a couple seasons. So huge credit for him to even be on that list versus some of those other guys.
Yeah. So when is it time? I don't know. At least 2 more seasons, right? That's what it feels like right now.
Here we go. September 1st. Season starts, Keon. If we don't get it this season,
I better see a major trophy, bro. That's all I know. For now, we thank everyone for spending time with us. If you like the podcast, please rate or leave a review. And also share it on social, right? Tell a friend. I don't know. Maybe mention it to your dad. Maybe they're an Arsenal fan. And it's just the best way for others to find out about us. So we appreciate you. And don't forget, you can write into the show, districtgooner@gmail.com. Long live King Kai, dude.
Be easy.